Morning, this is Brian. Today is Tuesday, May 31st, 2022. I am in the Laguna Mountains, the Mount Laguna recreation area here in East County, San Diego County. And it's time for a Spotlight on Trees video. Today's Spotlight focuses on a tree with a very, very confused taxonomical issue that is found here in East San Diego County, and it is called Parry Pinyon, Pinus quadrifolia. This is yet another species of pinyon pine that grows here in Southern California. So why is the taxonomy of this tree so confused? Well, it's because there's a lot of disagreement to what this tree actually is, species-wise. So what we have here is another species of pinyon pine. The other major species of pinyon pine here in Southern California is the single-leaf pinyon, Pinus monophylla. And you can check my Spotlight video for the description of that tree. And potentially Pinus edulis might potentially be found in the New York Mountains in northeastern San Bernardino County. And however, the pinyon pines there also seem to have a very confused taxonomy. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, because this video focuses on the confused taxonomy of this pinyon pine here. So, Parry Pinyon, that's Pinus quadrifolia. It is a member of the soft pine group. It's not extremely closely related, but a lot more closely related to the white pines than our other major conifers here, like Jeffrey pine, which is a member of the yellow/ponderosa pine group. The Parry Pinyon is a member of the pinyon branch of the white pine section, whereas as our other pinyon pines. So if we're going to be talking about Parry Pinyon, let's look at the needles per bundle, because this is where it's going to get pretty crazy. Now, there can be anywhere from 2 to 5 needles per bundle in this tree. So some bundles will have 2, some bundles will have 3, some will have 4, and even some will have 5. And again, I'm gonna just go into the general characteristics of this tree before I start going into the taxonomical confusion. So these trees are fairly scattered here, especially towards the crest and the east slope of the Laguna Mountains. Much less common more toward the west. But these trees grow from basically Riverside County into Baja California. And like a lot of other pinyon pines, some furrowing in the bark, also a little bit of flakiness. It's a little flakier than on single-leaf pinyon, Pinus monophylla, which is the dominant pinyon pine in California for that matter. And like other pinyon pines, their cones are pretty small. Actually even smaller than Pinus monophylla. So this is a fairly typical size cone. And during the right time of year, usually late summer to early fall, there'll be large, very large edible seeds contained inside the cones. So if we're going to talk about tree size and tree height, Parry Pinyon is usually a fairly small tree. This is a very mature specimen here of a Parry Pinyon. We'll back up a little bit and try to get a perspective of this tree. This one's probably about 30 feet tall. So, I mean, I'm guessing they can occasionally get up to maybe 45 feet tall, maybe 50 under the best of circumstances. But like like most pinyon pines, they're fairly small and very slow growing trees, and kind of squat, kind of rounded, sometimes very broadly pyramid shaped, very broadly conical. There's some more around here, of course. So here's another one. Right here. And then these smaller trees up here are also the Parry Pinyons. But I'm going to go back to this tree here. So basically talked about the range of this tree, talked about the morphology, showed you what the cones look like, and showed you the high variability in needle count and bundles. Now it's time to go into some pretty gnarly taxonomical detail about this tree. So especially trees around here and also in the Sierra Juarez Plateau, which is to our south across the border in Baja California Norte. Now we're going to talk about the nomenclature, or the naming of this tree. Now, Parry Pinyon, of course, we established as Pinus quadrifolia. There is another type of pine that some botanists recognize as the Sierra Juarez Pinyon pine, which is Pinus juarezensis. So the botanists, a lot of botanists disagree over the naming of this tree, and it sometimes has to do with the number of needles per bundle. Now, one very well-known botanist named Ronald Lanner basically postulates that pines with higher variability of needle numbers per bundle, basically meaning from 2 to 5, especially a higher variability in needle number, would most likely be listed as Pinus juarezensis, the Sierra Juarez pinyon pine. Ones with, I believe his figure was 95% of needles in bundles of 4 would be Pinus X quadrifolia. When you throw that letter X in there, that denotes a hybrid. He does not consider Parry Pinyon to be a full species, but a hybrid. I can't remember what the two species that provided the hybrid were in his treatise about the Sierra Juarez Pinyon. I'm gonna try to see. I don't think I have that book anymore. It's called Conifers of California by Ronald Lanner, where he discusses the crazy taxonomy of the pinyon pines in much better detail. So, refer to Conifers of California. I don't think I still have that book. I think I lost it, unfortunately. It was a very, very informative, very interesting treatise on coniferous trees here in California. So I'm going to go look at the needles per bundle on this tree and try to get an idea. This is going to be an interesting title for this video. So I'm looking here. I see bundles of 3, a lot of bundles of 4. A lot of bundles of 4, actually. However, doesn't appear to be 95%. So I do see lots of needles in different numbers bundled together. There's one with 5. Bear with me, I know this is probably not fun watching me counting needles on a pine tree, but I'm just using this to try to illustrate the point that Ronald Lanner was making. So the question is, how am I going to title this video? It's going to be a very long title, and videos are not supposed to have more than 100 characters per title, so it's going to be funny how I'm going to have to make the title of this video. I'm probably just going to title it Parry Pinyon and its taxonomic controversy or something like that, but this one does have quite a bit of variability. I would say it has a lot of needles, and a lot of 4 bundled needles. However, I see a lot of them with 3, hardly 95%, or not even 95% in bundles of 4. So according to Ronald Lanner, this would be Pinus juarezensis. This would be the Sierra Juarez Pinyon pine. Yeah, not even close. I see some needles in bundles of 2. I see a lot of them in bundles of 3. So according to Ronald Lanner, this would be Pinus juarezensis, as would probably be the case with probably most of the pinyon pines here. So this was a spotlight video I've been wanting to do for quite a long time, because I always found this to be a fascinating subject. But now I want to go to more of an appreciative factor. Just look at how neat, beautiful this tree is. This is one of the larger specimens I've seen here in the lagunas. We're at an elevation of roughly about 6,000 feet here, and it grows quite a bit mixed in with the Jeffrey pines, the birchleaf mountain mahoganies, canyon live oak, various species of manzanita. So while it does mix in Jeffrey pine woodland and forest, it also pokes out in the middle of the chaparral as well. And usually anywhere from, I believe, maybe 4,000 feet all the way up to over 6,000 feet. I've seen Parry Juarez Pinyon all the way up in Garner Valley in Riverside County. You'll see it along Highway 74 in the Garner Valley area. You'll see some pretty decent specimens occasionally along the side of the road. There's one a little bit larger than this, actually, and it's a little more trunk before the branching occurs. That's one thing. A lot of pinyon pines will branch down quite low to the ground, as you see here. A lot of these pinyon pines will branch pretty low. And I was mentioning earlier that the seeds of the pinyon pines are edible. In fact, they were extremely highly prized by the local Native Americans. Like the Pinaceae from this area would come out in late summer, very early fall, anywhere from late August, I think, to late August through September, usually when the cone crops are coming into fruition. And they'll come and collect these, and they loved it. I think coming up to the mountains in the fall was probably one of the highlights of the local Native American tribes, to collect the seeds. Now, you hear a lot of people referring to them as pine nuts. Now, they taste like nuts, they look like nuts, but botanically, they're not considered nuts. Any large seed from a conifer may look or taste like a nut, but botanically, it's a seed. It's not a full nut. But we use it to conveniently refer to the seed of the plant. And these would go good in a pesto. They would go good in a salad. pine nuts can be very tasty. Not to mention they're very nutritious. I believe most of our pines, in addition to pinyon, I believe are edible as well. I don't know the full range of that, but I know we don't have them here. But sugar pines, you'll find some remnant sugar pines over in the Cuyamaca Mountains to our west, especially near Cuyamaca Peak. They had seeds that were pretty nutritious and edible. Of course, coulter pines, Pinus coulteri, you'll find them periodically here in San Diego County as well. Their seeds are edible and nutritious. Gray pines further up north, Pinus sabiniana, they're supposed to be quite nutritious as well. A lot of pines have very delectable seeds. So I'm going to go down here with these some of these smaller trees here. You can take a look at some of them. Very much at home here in the Laguna Mountains. They sure add another charismatic beauty to the land here. This is an incredibly fun mountain range to come visit, and I think for me some of the biggest highlights are coming across the pinyon pines, to be honest with you, because I don't really get to see these anywhere else except for the southern San Jacinto Mountains, and that's another place I rarely make it to as well. But here we go. It's a younger tree, a little more upright. So if you were to grow this or any other pinyon pine, you're gonna have to do it with a huge amount of patience, because these trees are very slow growing and they will take a very long time, most likely more than 15-20 years to start bearing seed. So if you were to grow a pinyon pine from seed, or even to buy a seedling or sapling, you got a long wait ahead of you. Not to knock the tree, because I have a single leaf pinyon seedling at home, and I find it very rewarding. It is extremely slow growing. So, but it's a patient reward. But I think it's worth it to get these. I don't know about collecting seeds from these in the wild, because except for I guess I'm imagining, since these trees are not very common, they're probably protected. So I don't know about getting Parry Juarez Pinyon seeds in the wild. I personally wouldn't, even though I would love to grow this tree because it's absolutely insanely beautiful. But I would caution against collecting seeds in the wild, because this tree here is not a very common sight, especially here in the U.S. I think it's much more common in Baja California, but still, I would consider just admiring it from the wild. Admiring it in the wild, because it's not an extremely common sight here. So again, Pinus quadrifolia, Parry Pinyon, or Pinus quadrifolia, Parry Pinyon, according to Ronald Lanner, and Pinus juarezensis, the Sierra Juarez Pinyon. So I'm going to take a quick look at these guys and see what the needles are like on this one. And this one's got 5, 5. Yeah, this is another one with a high amount of variability. So if Ronald Lanner were here, he'd probably be saying, okay guys, check out these Sierra Juarez Pinyon pines. So I know the taxonomy is kind of confusing. It'll probably be titled Parry Pinyon, but make sure to check out the description and for any other additional comments about these guys. But this is a tree that is absolutely fun to be around. Beautiful old tree. Adds a lot of character to these beautiful Southern California Peninsular Mountain ranges. And then here we are, the pollen cones are starting to come out. They'll eventually open up and turn yellow, and they'll fertilize the next round of seeds. So So this was a spotlight on trees with Brian from here in the Laguna Mountains in east central San Diego County. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another spotlight video.